for the introduction. I hope that everybody's enjoying their evening. My name is Kayvan Tirdad. I'm going to talk about a little bit about the artificial intelligence for the Earth, our planet. This talk is presented to you by Ryerson Artificial Intelligence Lab. And today's talk, I'm going to talk about a little bit about AI and why it's the next revolution. From the beginning, when I mention about the AI, I'm talking about the umbrella that is, we call it AI. It's considered as the machine learning, reinforcement learning, deep learning, and other techniques that we have in the AI. So all of them, I call them AI. And then I'm going to talk about why right now is the key moment of using AI for our planet. Then we are changing the gear. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. What's the challenge and opportunity that we are facing these days? And then we are going to talk about that if we want to address those challenges, how we can prioritize our actions to address those challenges, and then how AI can play as the key player for addressing those problems. Then I'm going to a little bit talk about why AI is important for our environment and how AI is going to change our environment in terms of the different sectors and also in terms of the global GDPs and then greenhouse gas emission. Also, I'm going to talk about who is the player in these areas. And then at the end, I'm going to provide you 3 examples of the usage of AI, 3 unconventional examples. So you can get better feel and grasp of how AI can come to play here. And then at the end, for the conclusion, we are going to talk a little bit about that. If you want to do something with the AI, how you have to do it, what's the information that you need, what are the different components that you need to solve it. So let's start from the beginning. So usually I prefer to go and say that there's a guy named M.Eng. He's the leading scientist in terms of the AI. And he's the prof in the Stanford University. He always said that the AI is the next electricity. Now, by that sentence, think about that, how the electricity changed the face of the planet Earth, how the electricity changed the whole economy and the daily life of the human. That would be the power of the AI. We're going to see it in the next couple of decades. I don't want to go that much in terms of the history of the AI, but if you just want to looking a little bit about it, you can think about that at the beginning we have the automated intelligence, then we have the assisted intelligence, means that AI trying to help you in something. Then we have the augmented intelligence, that's the AI try to add its intelligence to your intelligence and then coming up with a solution or assisting you in terms of the making a better decision. And then we have the autonomous intelligence, those type that the AI going to make a decision and then changing the environment and again make another decision. We refer to them as autonomous intelligence. Now, why AI and why now? Couple of things happening in the recent years that make combination of all of them make that the AI possible. So the first of all was the flood of the available data. For doing the AI, you need a huge amount of the data because you can think about that, okay, AI is the tools that needs to learn something. And for learning anything, you need to having a huge amount of the examples so your system can learn it. And these days, because we have the huge amount of the sensor all over the place, we have the huge amount of the cameras, all of the cell phones has the cameras for these days. And we are capable of storing all those data. Now, we have the huge amount of the data available to us. Then the other component that happened recently was increasing in terms of the computational power. Usually, AI algorithm is so computational, need a huge amount of the computation. And with the increase in terms of the computational power increase, in terms of increase the speed of the CPUs and GPUs, we were able to apply those algorithms. Then the other component is that since that we have the much more better computational power, Now we can going for the much more complicated algorithm, and then those algorithms also right now is public, most of them, and you can use them. And also at the end, the last component is that the support of the industries. The industries notice that AI can solve way better than other approaches that we have it out there for different problems, and they are starting to supporting it and use them. So these four components is the component that right now play as the roles for us that applying the AI in daily problems. Now, I want to change the gear a little bit, talking about the planet Earth and then the problem that we have these days. And then we are going to connect these problems to the AI. If you want to think about what are the challenges that our planet have, you can categorize them to 6 different categories. The first one is the climate change. The greenhouse gas levels right now is the highest in the past 3 million years. And this is a huge number. If you think that, okay, we know about the Paris Agreement, and if we assume that all the countries continue the Paris Agreement, we know that this is not the case since Donald Trump left that agreement, but let's assume that everybody's continue that agreement, the global average temperature by 2100 are still expected to be 3 degrees above the pre-industrial level. And it means that you are going to miss the target, and also you're going to face the worst impact of the climate change. Now, the other category is the biodiversity and conservation. It means that different species going to be extinct in the massive rate. Right now, 1 out of 5 species in the Earth face eradication. And usually scientists think that these numbers will be rise by 50% by end of this century. Now, in addition to this, think about that we have the deforestation all around the world. And just in the Amazon areas, the amount of the rainfall going to be decreased by 8% by the 2015. And the rainfall is equal to fresh water for us. Now, the other category is healthy oceans. And by the healthy ocean means that due to the greenhouse gas and other things that the humans interrupt the normal being of the oceans, now the ocean start to having acidification and also starting to warming up. Now, these things is equal to we are losing the fish stock and coral reef. The other things that I need to talk about a little bit is the water security. By the water security, I means that how much fresh waters people have to sustain their life. By 2030, just 10 years from now, we are 40% falling short of the amount of the fresh water that we needed. And this is the result of the pollution and climate change. So the other issue is clean air. In terms of the clean air, based on the WHO, 92% of the humans these days doesn't have a proper access to the good quality weather. So think about it. One death out of every 8 people that dying today are from the air pollution. This is equal to 7 million people die annually. Now, at the end, think about the weather and disaster resiliency. In 2016, the number of the disasters that happened on Earth was 772. This is triple the time of that triple the time that disaster happened in 1980s. So all of these are bad by itself. Now, consider the fact that right now the population of the Earth around 7 billion, and think about that by 2015, the population would be 9.8 billion people. So those people need food, material, transportation, energy, and While those people need those stuff, we are having a degradation in terms of the environmental. Now, all of them together is the, I think, good recipe for the disaster that is coming to our. And we need to think about it right now. So now I want to talk about a little bit about how AI can help us in all of these categories. We mentioned about the climate change, biodiversity, healthy oceans, weather security, water security, clean air, and then disasters. So let's go one by one. In all of them, I just try to touch up in a couple of the items that AI can help us. So the first one is the climate change. Now, in the climate change, the first thing that is coming to your mind is, for example, sustainable land use. By the land use means that you need to make sure that you are doing the agriculture in a way that you can use the land over and over again, and also you shouldn't overuse the land. So that's what we call it precision agriculture and nutrition. The other things that you can think about it is early detection of the crop issue. If you are try to figure it out before that it's getting too bad, then we can think about smart cities. In terms of the smart cities, think about that you need to coming up with a system that you can manage the traffic much more optimized. Again, for the smart cities, you can think about that, okay, each building these days use huge amount of the energy. How can I make them in terms of having optimized design or making energy efficient? The other thing that you can think about the role of the AI in terms of the smart transport system. Think about the AI-enabled electric cars. Or, for example, even the electric buses that they can autonomous and help the people to do transportation. Now, if I want to talk about, think about the biodiversity and conservations and then how the AI can help them, the easiest way you can think about the pollution control, and you can think that, okay, if I want to save the different species, I need to make sure that I don't have the huge amount of the pollution in their habitat. Then you can think about that if I want to make sure that the different species are in the good situation, then you need to having the kind of the disease control for different species. Then other example could be habitat protection and restoration. You need to, first of all, detect that each species, where they are living and where they are migrating, what's their pattern. And then you need to make sure that how can I reserve those patterns, how can I conserve those areas. These are the part that AI can help you. Now, in terms of the healthy ocean, the easiest thing that's coming to your mind most probably is stopping the illegal fishing. And then the AI can help you to detect that. AI can help you to manage it in a way that you are following different stock of the fish. The other things that you can think about it is you think that you need to monitor different species in the oceans. You need to monitor coral reef in the oceans. And AI can help you in all of them. Now, in terms of the water securities, the easiest things is water consumption. How can I monitor water consumptions, and how can I make sure that we are consuming water much more efficiently? The other things that is coming to the mind is water supply. How can I monitor the water supply? How can I make sure that I always having proper water supply? Then we have the water filtration, the same argument. So these are the part that AI can help you. In terms of the clean air, then the first things coming to your mind is how can I filter the air? If I have the air that is not good enough, how can I filter it? Then The idea of the forecasting of the pollutions coming to mind. Okay, how can I make sure that, for example, from now in the next 10 days, I don't have the huge level of the pollutions? And then also the clean fuels, because of the fuel cells basically reduce the level of the cleanness of the air. And then at the end is weather and disaster resiliency. If you are doing all the other aspects that we are talking about, most probably you are in the good shape in these areas. But the AI can help you when the disaster is happening. Think about this way. Let's say the hurricanes destroy a part of the countries. The first thing that you need to know that which part is destroyed the most, and also you need to know that how you can allocate your resources to rebuilding it again, how you can help people. Those are the part that AI can help you. Now, from this point, I'm going to change it gear a little bit. I'm going to talk about that how the AI changing our environment from now till next 10 years. I don't want to talk about the next 15 years, next 100 years, no, just the next 10 years. From now on, that's 2020 to 2013. So if you are going to apply AI on top of other approaches that we already accepted and we are doing it, just by adding the AI, the GDP of the whole world going to increase by 4.4%. This is equal to $5.2 trillion. The level of the greenhouse gas emissions going to reduce by 4%. This is equal to the 2.4 gigaton of the CO2. And then in terms of the jobs, we are going to make more jobs that is equal to 38.2 million jobs. Now, if you think about that in terms of the job that among all the jobs, roughly near 1% of the whole jobs in the world are related to the environment. And by applying the AI in the next 10 years, among those 1%, we are going to add 38.2 million new jobs to that 1%. Now, it's when you are talking about the GDP, the first thing that's coming to mind is that, okay, we know that number is for the whole world, but if I want to looking at it through the regions, how does that look like? Now, you can see that if I going to use as the region, if I apply the AI, you can see that the North America getting the best benefit in terms of the greenhouse gas usage, reduced it by 6.1%. In terms of the increasing in the GDP, Europe getting the biggest increase with the 5.4%. The same ideas is going for East Asia, Central America, Sub-Saharan Africa, Indo-Pacific, those areas. So you can see that the AI can help all around the world to make them better. Now, if I was looking at the AI sector base, now, if I use the AI from now till 2013, how each sector is going to benefit? The first sector that is very interesting is energy. If I'm using the AI by 2013, energy sectors benefit equal to $2.6 trillion. In terms of the annual GHG impact is less than 1.3 gigaton of the CO2. Now, if I want to think about the water, the benefit is equal to $119 billion. For the agriculture, $359 billion. And for the transportation, is equal to $2.1 trillion. So these numbers are really mind-boggling, and I think it's quite natural that we think that we need to do it. So then the other question that's coming to mind is that, okay, let's say I want to do it. From now on till 2013, how it looks like to me, how much I'm going to make a benefit. In the first one, you can see that the global impact of the environmental AI in the agriculture sector. The first one is the GDP impact. The other one is the GHG impact, or reducing the greenhouse gas. And you can see that in all of them, we have the exponential pattern. Again, Down here, we have the same things for the energy sector. Again, the same story. So if you are starting today, as much as you are going forward in time, you will see much more bigger outcome. In terms of the transportation, again, the same things. In terms of the water sectors, we have the same things. I didn't put the greenhouse uses for the water sector because this is kind of the negligible, so I didn't put it in my presentation, but we can also talk about that as well. Now, a little bit about the job. If you are going to apply AI, and then think that how these jobs going to change, in the first diagram, you can see that how much gain different areas of the world, different continents of the world going to be gained. And you can see that East Asia getting the highest amount of the employment. Then we have the Europe, Middle East, Central, and South America. And then for the Indo-Pacific and also Saharas, we are not seeing a huge amount of the gain. Also, we are seeing a little bit of job loss. If you think about that as the level of the skills, you can see in second diagram, all of them, they're getting a much more job. They're seeing much more increase in terms of the job, except the agriculture and unskilled people. And this is the usually that those people that are seeing in the Sahara. That's why we need to spend that, make that those people acquire new skills. Now, if I want to apply AI in any of these domains, who are the players and how these things could work out? The first player is the government. Government needs to step in and start using the AI for different problems. Then we have the tech developers, companies, and then academia as a backbone of the research for the problems, and then non-governmental organizations. These are the key players for solving these critical problems that we have it. How we can help it? Usually, we have to try to facilitate awareness. We need to coming up with the collaboration with multidisciplinary partnerships. This is hugely important that people's coming and joining together from different areas. And then we need to address the digital infrastructure that we need to applying the AI for attacking these problems. Now, till this point, I talk about that what are the problems, how AI can help, and maybe you have it in your mind that, okay, couple of these, I have the idea that I can apply AI for it, or I have an idea that I can solving it. I want to provide you 3 examples of the AI, and these 3 I found it quite interesting and quite unconventional. That's at least these are not coming to the mind easily. The first one is the company is named NatureServe. NatureServe, they are doing very interesting things. They are detecting those species that in the risk of the extinction. Now, they try to locate them, and they are trying to locate them in the map in terms of that which areas these species are living, how they are migrating, and then they are making a map that is online. You can see that which areas you need to preserve more, which habitat you need to looking at much more and preserve it. So these information could be huge for different national parks around the world. And how they are using it, basically they are using the satellite images and then the drone and different imagery systems. The other project is WildMe. WildMe is also very interesting. We know that everybody these days using the Facebook, and at least most of the people have the Facebook. Now think about if I want to have a Facebook for different species. And this is exactly that's what WildMe did. They coming up with the machine learning models that you take a picture of the one species and then send it to these guys. And then the machine learning models distinguish exactly the species in that picture. And they tag them already. So they know that which species exactly you are facing, and they are following them. So, for example, in terms of the wild book for the shark, they are already identified more than 11,000 different wild sharks, and 74,000 people's report of seeing those sharks. How the system works, basically, when you take pictures in this specific type of shark, they are looking the pattern of the white dot. Now, they did the same things with the giraffe and also 20 other different species. Remember, the pattern of the white dot on the body of the shark for each of them are different, the same as like a fingerprint in the human. The same stories we have it for the line of the zebras, or the shape of the tail in the humpback whale, or the pattern on the cheetah's bodies. All of them has the uniqueness to it. Now, they are not stopping here. They said that me as a user can go online and choose one of these sharks as my online pet and donate a small amount of the money. Now, each time that one person around the world see this shark and take a picture of it and then send them, they send me a notification that, hey, your shark saw seen in the this specific part of the globe. And they start to gathering the information. Now, think about that. If we have these things for all the species that are facing the extinction, how we can save them? The last example is Sylvia Terra. Sylvia Terra is the company that's trying to fight against deforestation. How they did, they get the high-resolution satellite imagery that is already public out there. They're making a model. That models look at the images and calculate exactly how many trees there, what are their location, how tall are they, what's the thickness of them. And this way, they're coming up with the map that give you exact location, by the exact, I mean in terms of the meter of the each trees for the whole North America. So anything that's changing, you can easily figure out that how many trees are going down or how many is growing right now. And this is another example of the using the AI. Now, in terms of the conclusion, at the beginning of the talk, I mentioned that we need, for the AI, we need a couple of the different components. The first one was the data. The good news is that we have the huge amount of the data sets, different type of it, is already available and public. So you can go and download them and use them. For example, if you want to doing something with the wildlife, LiLAB is the labeled image of the different species. If you need the high resolution imaging from satellite, you can use the NIP and the rest of it. So the amount of the data that's already available out there is huge. The other things that you need to think about it, for example, if I have an AI algorithm, you need infrastructure. For the infrastructure, Microsoft, Amazon, Intel, IBM, and many more countries are providing the infrastructure if you have a good idea. In a couple of these companies, they are providing you a grant. They give you money to make the system that happens so that both sides of the partnership can benefit. And then maybe you ask yourself, okay, I want to do all of them, but how about the algorithm? The beauty is that in most of the case, the algorithm is also out there. You just need to go and find them and use them. Couple of those companies, they are also providing you those algorithms. They are providing you the API and API platform and those information. So my main point is that I'm suggesting to explore these areas and think about AI as the huge player for the rest of the environment. Now, this talk is presented to you from Ryerson Artificial Intelligence Lab. Here is the picture of myself and my colleagues and teammates. I hope that you guys enjoy it. I'm going to answer a couple of the questions if we have a time. Okay, in terms of the questions. How is the AI industry is doing regarding the COVID-19? Is there any project or program to place to help overcome this pandemic? Reza asked it. Since the beginning, the AI community started to working on the COVID-19 in terms of the doing the genome expression of the virus, in terms of the measuring how the pandemics work or how it's going to be affected different areas of the world. And most of the models that you are seeing these days, that, for example, they said that, okay, we believe that by that time we have this amount of the deaths or this amount of the new cases. Those are the result of the AI. Most of the models are based on the machine learning. The other questions that we have, during this pandemic, the US has stated that they have surplus oil right now because there is no demand. Do you believe that the AI strategies can be used to transform and convert the use of the oil to other renewable sources in energy and transport sectors? This is a very, very good question. There is a huge studies right now, even in the University of Toronto, they are working on the same problem. They are thinking about how can I change the structure of the atoms and molecules to coming up with a new type of the materials. And I believe this question is going toward that direction. Yes, AI is working to trying to change different type of the materials to get different things that could be much more beneficial for the humans. Then, what's the other question? What's come with the AI in cyber attacks? How has the impact of the cyber attacks been taken into consideration of these statistics? I'm not sure exactly about that, the effect of cyber attack in these statistics. The same way that I guess nobody's predicted last year that the pandemic going to affect us this heavily. But the AI working on the cyber attacks, basically we are trying to make models to learn that if the attack is happening, how we can handle it and avoiding it. Then the other question is how AI can affecting banking industry. I think in most of the industry, I'm trying to address it in much more general term. AI going to help all the possible industries around the world, no matter which industry that we are talking about. AI coming as the helping hand to better managing all different problems that we are facing, including banking industries. Also, I'm going to answer the last questions. They said that about your animal topic, how the manipulation of the AI can endanger environment and species around the world. Do we have any worldwide law and rules which could monitor the red line? Again, this is a very, very good question. Yes, we do have different rules and laws, and the lawmakers are working on making a new rules for AI in a way that we can benefit from it. AI is, you can think about it as the double-sworded, double-edged knife. So you have to make sure that you are using it properly. My suggestion is that try to Google responsible AI. These two words lead you to a huge amount of the documentation, so you can get familiar with the idea of the responsible AI. I guess I don't have any more question. I just want to thank one more from all the speakers, all the people that make this presentation happening. Thank you all. Arzu, I'm with you.